Mr. Dave, such a pleasure talking to you. I'm Rafa, representing Kiss FM.
Amazing. Well, very nice to speak to you.
Cool.
Yeah.
And before we start, I'd like to congratulate James for being such an amazing band that connected me with me so many ways, man. Thanks
Yeah.
for everything.
Did you have the chance to see us play live?
Yes, on 2012, you
Okay.
made a show in São Paulo.
Yeah, a very weird show. It
Yeah,
was
but
really
it was
strange.
so cool for me. And you're coming back to Brazil again. You had a show in last year in Rock in Rio.
That's right. Yeah, we played last year in Rock in Rio. It was an amazing. We've played, obviously, that Rock in Rio takes place in Rio, obviously, and also in Lisboa. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we played the one in Lisbon, I don't know, maybe four times. But last year was the first time we got to play in Rio itself, and it was just amazing. I loved it. I loved it so much. It was amazing.
Yeah, and you
So
have such a quick experience because you didn't have any side shows. We are expecting you in São Paulo, by the way.
we went on to make an American tour, a tour of US and Canada straight after. So our problem was that we didn't have time. So well, anyway, and it was also a test for us, like to go back to Rio, and not go back to James fans, but to go on. I mean, we were very. It was amazing. We were asked to go to Rock in Rio, but of course, you know, there was some nervousness for us going playing in front of what turned out to be quite a big audience who didn't necessarily know us, but it worked really well. And well, it was a challenge, but we rose to it, and we felt at the time, oh, what a shame we're not doing more shows here. But anyway, and we thought, well, next year, and well, next year is here now, so we are coming. Yeah, I mean, it's another toe in the water, like your country is so enormous, and you've got so many cities and so many places that we could play. But for us to come, well, it's great to come back to Sao Paulo. You're telling me it was 2012, so that's
Yeah,
13, 14 years, almost 13 years ago.
yeah.
And we never played in Curitiba before, so that's a new thing, for us to experience and whatever, The more we can come to Brazil, then the happier I am, frankly. So.
And I talk about Rock in Rio. How different is the experience playing Rock in Rio Lisbon and Rio de Janeiro?
I don't know. Probably it's more. I think it's quite similar in a way. Like it's the same it's the same stuff in a way, right?
Uh-huh.
The audience is different, of course. It's two completely different countries. Okay, you share some history and you share a language, kind of, but yeah, no, it was different in some ways. I found it fascinating. And I genuinely didn't know what to expect, and I was preparing for like the worst. Yeah, like very British. Like oh, we'll
That's
make it. And but it was loose and it was beautiful, and we were treated so well by people and welcomed so amazingly. It was like I felt really at home personally. I
cool.
spent a lot. I didn't have the opportunity to spend very much time in Brazil, but I spent a lot of time in Portugal, and so I learned the language to some extent. My kids were born in Portugal, so I have a very big connection to some elements of Portuguese culture. You share some of those elements, and then there's huge things that are completely different, of course. But it's the other side of the world, right? And but nevertheless, I was able to take some expectation with me, and I just loved it. I just thought the people were amazing and just so cool, like, and everybody in Brazil just makes me feel so stuck up and white,
Cool, man.
like,
And I saw an interview of you in a Portuguese radio station. You speak
yeah.
Portuguese very well, my friend.
Ah, eu não sei, eu falo e já está.
Inclusive, não deixe as pessoas não vão falar alguma coisa para você que você não entenda. Você vai entender sem falar para eles que você entende, correto?
Sim, sim. And there's and this is the thing, right? Also, português em Brasil é completamente diferente, não é? O som, e o movimento da língua que está completamente diferente. Então, para mim, chega lá em Rio e tem esta ideia, eu posso falar com alguém, mas não, 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 não. Espera um momento, caraças, isto vai demorar algum tempo para começar a arranjar outra forma na cérebro, sabes? A falar com estas gajas lá em tua país, mas é incrível, para mim.
Very good Portuguese. Congratulations. And it's quite different. It's hard for us to understand the Portuguese guys. If they speak fast, it's almost impossible. I'm
Sim.
more familiar with English, by the way,
Right, right, right.
instead
Ok.
of the
Ok.
Portuguese from Portugal.
Sim. E agora em Portugal há muitos imigrantes do Brasil, não é?
Yes.
E então é mais familiar, sabes? É um
Yeah.
bocado mais familiar, o som. Mas no norte de Portugal, em Porto, por exemplo, as pessoas lá falam muito, muito rápido, é assim, blá, 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 e vem,
Bug. System crash.
e fala muito mal, palavras são muito mal também, duros, sabes?
Let's talk about what people can expect in terms of set list and performance this time. I'm really curious about it.
Um, well, I genuinely don't know because we just made a tour of North America and North America, Canada, America, and we were playing. You might know we have made a record early '90s called "Laid."
This one?
Exactly that one, and we were finally persuaded that if we wanted to go back to America and really be able to spread our wings and play properly, fully, proper shows, it was better to go not as a package of bands to bands, let's say together, like we had done the year before in 2024 with Johnny Marr, sharing the stage, where each band maybe has 1 hour to play. Okay, it's okay, but it's not our way. You know, we like to play for a long time.
Yeah.
We're not exactly the Cure, right? Hey, Khaled. We're not the Cure who never stop, but we 2 hours, 2 hours 15. It's an opportunity to touch the catalog, do new songs. We have a new record, so you want to play it, and 1 hour is not enough, right? So
18 albums, correct?
or 19, I'm not sure. Is it 18?
I guess. Yeah. I think
Is it
it's 18.
18?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're making
So
a
many
19th.
records.
We're making our 19th now.
Cool.
So anyway. So yeah, we went to America and we played Laid. Well, we played Laid, which has 13 tracks, and then we would play probably 10, 11, 12 songs from catalog, some new songs from the last album, Yummy. Also some catalog, from going whenever. So we were and we loved it. So we won't be doing this on this mini tour that we have. We have 5 dates that we're playing. 3 of the shows are festivals, but the 2 shows we have in Brazil are our own shows, and so we'll really be able to play. And I imagine, we'll do 2 hours 10, 2 hours 15, whatever it's going to be. And I guess it'll just be a mixture of everything, really, including some very new songs from Yummy. It's a really nice record.
Yeah,
And
I
we'll
heard it.
probably play.
Congratulations. Really cool.
Thank you. We'll probably play 2 or 3 or 4 songs from that, and then, of course, some songs that everybody knows, which are great fun to play, and then some catalog, which could be from any period of the history. Jimmy, the band formed in 1981, right?
Yes.
So we've got there's a lot to choose from, so it's I think it's going to be really good fun. I think it's yeah.
I was searching. Your last concert was on October the 5th, and in Vancouver.
Yes, in Vancouver. That's
And the
right.
set list was awesome.
Oh, did you see it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah, I mean, we maybe what will happen is that 1 or 2 of those additional songs from Laid that we were never playing before, maybe they'll come into the set. I don't know yet. I mean, suddenly we were forced to play the whole album because that was the idea, right? We're going to go and play the record. we didn't really have a lot of time to, and we also chose not to make the time to rehearse so much. So everything was insanely fresh to us. And there's songs there, like one of the three, for example,
Yeah.
which in fact we'd never really played. Skin Diving also, which is the last track on the record, we never really played. And they became kind of almost surprising hits in a way. Of course, the room was full of friends. It was full of people who wanted to see that record, right, and hear those songs. So we were in good company. But it was really something. It was a little bit nostalgic for us as a band. I'm sure also for the audience, but we were a little bit, I guess, wary or unsure of the value of nostalgia, right? We were a band that liked to look forward all the time. So we were a little bit concerned about this. But in fact, I certainly felt that there was an element for my own in myself, just personally, of going back to a really special moment in the life of James. It was the first record that we made with Brian Eno, and so it was a huge voyage of discovery and a new, and we were entering a new era for the band, right? Coming on the back of the record Seven. So we made the record also in Real World, which is an amazing studio. So yeah, I found the nostalgia trip really cool, and I really enjoyed it because I was looking at it through fresh eyes, and I realized how much we'd moved on, but how much also things had stayed the same as well at the same time. You know, it's remarkable, you know, because of course you will know, bands don't normally last this long, right? You know, there are
Yeah,
some
yeah.
the Stones, whatever, yeah, but also us, right?
And keep
Almost no
producing records. You keep
and
producing
keep making
music.
yeah and it's the most important element of what we do, really. I think in many ways is that we continue to make new music, and I think it was never a strategy because we just felt compelled to write and record, right? So it's part of what we do, and it's how you define yourself. But it has also worked in a sense that we have new people are coming to see us, which is remarkable. We will. I don't know when this process stops, but but you know, yeah, we put on, a few weeks ago we put on tour what will be our biggest arena tour in the UK, and it's
Where?
almost in April. We're playing 10 arenas in April across the UK. And it's our biggest tour of our history, right, of James. So, and it's almost sold out. So, you know, even this far away, people are, you know, enjoying the idea of going to those shows. And I know what will happen. There'll be a bunch of, you know, there's an increasing number of younger people also coming to our shows, which is amazing for us because it shows that our songs and the message in a way, because our band has I suppose in a way a soft message which is about celebration, you know, and
Always
togetherness.
positive vibes.
Yeah, it's positive. And actually, I think that's why people come, because they go, well, fuck it, you know, we're gonna have a good night, you know. And there's always a challenge. There's always something, you know, challenging, whether it's some of the you know, we get, you know, we're not just fluffy, you know what I mean? Like there is, we can make a noise, and yeah, then will always be some challenging moments, but that's but over 2.5 to 2 hours 15, why not? You know. But yeah, it's I suppose if there is an ethos in James, then it's always to make things that we enjoy to hear, and do things for ourselves, and then trust that other people will also enjoy and come along, and that's what's happening. So it's, you know, I want it to happen in Brazil.
Yeah, I'll be
So I
there
can
for sure.
so I can spend more time in Brazil.
Yeah.
One
I
part.
was about to ask you about the Yummy record, right?
Right.
For me personally, it has a really modern sound, modern drum style, especially. And was it the producer's influence, or you already had it in mind to keep it really modern, despite of the slide guitars and the things you used to do?
Yeah, no, both. We Leo, who produced Leo Abrams, who produced the record. It was Brian Eno who said, "Oh, you should work with Leo. He's really cool. I think the fit will be really nice." So we took him up on the offer, and well, we were also on tour during the period that the record was being made. So we were going into the studio and going away, doing shows, coming back. You know, it was a bit complicated logistically. But I think it worked to an advantage in a way. Some things took time, which they always do, and you never know what. But some other things came together very quickly. We had a number of very nicely formed demos that the band, had made,
Okay.
and so we knew that unless we completely fucked it up, we would have a really nice record, right? We knew the songs were there. And so in the end, Leo did, I think, a really clever thing, which was he used in many cases, he used the original demo and then started to build around it. And so as he built, he would also take away some things that had pre-existed. And so some of the rhythm tracks and some of the ideas and the freshness of the record, if that's what it is, were already stated. But Leo came and really stamped some authority on the record and made it coherent. And that was really, I found it particularly and especially really cool to work with him. And he's a very gentle soul, but he always gets in the end what he wants. Yeah, but we were very conscious of, we were trying to reach a point where the record sounded like it could be played by us, yeah,
Yeah.
and we could take it onto the road and play pretty simply, pretty seamlessly. Although there are complex elements to the record, and that turned out to be the case. So we made a good choice, and in fact, we're going through now pretty much exactly the same process. Four of us, Jimmy, our bass player, Tim, of course, our singer, Mark, our keyboard player, and myself, we get together and we just jam and make noise, and then we record everything and then start piecing it all together, chopping it up, adding things, taking away things, whatever, creating demos, really. Creating out of all the noise that we make, we try to look for bits of music that sound coherent. And we will have one more session like this before we I've probably done everything we will need to be able to say, well, we have another record ready, how that will be recorded, fully recorded, and who will help us this time, I'm not quite sure. But that will be something that happens going on into next year. There's new music that's just come out in the UK. Well, it's on Spotify, so it's everywhere. But a new track, which has been very well received in the radio here and all that stuff, which is very gratifying. So, yeah, I mean, the recording process is a bit of a nightmare, really, when there's 9 people involved.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you. How
No,
do you...
yeah, and a lot of different ideas and a lot of input, and a lot of we probably all of us come from quite different musical backgrounds as well. So this has always been a challenge to try and find common ground. But at the same time, it's been one of our great strengths, which is when we do, it comes together in a really interesting way. There are some principles that hold us together, that bind us together, as musicians.
Yeah.
We don't rehearse. We're not very technical. We're not interested in technicality. We can make some technical records, but we're not interested. That's not our go-to position. Our go-to position is, can we find some heart in the whole thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the celebration comes from. That's where it touches you, nobody gets touched by technique, right?
I
You don't.
totally agree.
Yeah. You come from a country where the technical level of a lot of the music is insane,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But you also have joy within the music. Yeah. So you have a different aesthetic, a different way of approaching it. Yeah. You can't do those insane rhythms that you guys do unless you know how to play, right? It's impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be funny if you got a bunch of guys from you got us and said, right, try and play that. You'd be like,
Oh,
no, I don't think so.
and this
But
team writes all the lyrics?
yeah.
I
Yeah.
see. And how Chloe, how's the story involve Chloe? She was included in a band for Yummy, correct?
No, she's been there from the album before. She came and joined us, but on Yummy, she found her voice in a way. No pun intended, but we asked her, like we said, oh, she was gradually over time became more and more integrated into the band. She originally joined just as a backup, really, a backup singer, right?
I see.
Tim has always enjoyed, and we all do. We all enjoy having someone else. In fact, the front line of our stage, including me, on occasion, we really enjoy where we can to sing together as well. But we're not natural at it, right? So it's something that we need to kind of like, it needs to be the right song, right? And then we find a collective voice. But she's much more able than we are, so she's a singer, right? So she came. Then she came with her partner, Debbie, and Debbie was playing some percussion, and then and then they both ended up in the band, which was insane. It was like, fuck it, everybody joined James, right? And then, well, their together relationship disintegrated, but they both stayed in the band and they dealt with that, which was really cool. And Debbie has been playing like a fucking motherfucker on the drums in now, for a while. And it's nice. So there's kind of, Dave, our existing drummer, Debbie's come in and doing some additional stuff and sometimes taking over Dave's duties, which is really cool. I'm always generating rhythm tracks in the demos, playing drums as well. Mark is also more programmed. So there's a lot of us who are involved in putting rhythm parts together, and it's pretty interesting actually.
Yeah, all of you will be in Brazil?
All of us will be in Brazil, apart from Debbie, who is now 8 months pregnant. So she can't fly.
Yeah.
So we have this girl called Hannah from Scotland who's going to come and take Debbie's role
I see.
for this little block of shows. Debbie's really, really happy to be pregnant, but really unhappy that she's not coming to Brazil.
Maybe next year. Maybe next year. And the
Yeah, I hope so. With a fucking baby, right?
yeah.
Oh no, really? Like,
yeah. He can sing as well. The baby.
yeah. Well, we've all had kids, and we've all got kids. I've got grandkids now, right, and stuff like, and
Vovô, então o senhor é um vovô.
ah, yeah, vovô, sim. Really, realmente. Yeah. My granddaughter calls me a grandinho, which is a mixture of grandfather and, well, little grandfather, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Pequeno avô, grandinho, because she lives in Portugal, right? So she's speaking a mixture of Portuguese and from Alentejo, the south of Portugal. It's really, right?
The songs that usually play there a lot is Sit Down, of course, and Born of Frustration.
Born of Frustration just keeps going and okay, I understand Sit Down, it's a global thing, like people love it, it has this amazing message, about mental health, and I mean, we were writing about this shit in 1989, right? So and it seems as relevant and prevalent now as it ever was, right? So but Born of Frustration is like, it's just, imagine what it is like. I open that song. Well, Mark plays some keyboards, but I'm opening that song with that guitar line, right? And imagine what that feels like when you stand in front of a bunch of people and you play that. Dang, 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 dang. It's so simple. It's so simple, but it's so defined. And it's such a beautiful, and everybody knows what's coming, right? So everybody knows, and everybody has this expectation. And it's just really, it's really something, like it's a privilege. It's a privilege.
It's really hard to sing the ooh. It's really hard. It's really hard.
It's impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible.
So
Tim still, can do it, and I'm like, wow. Sometimes I'm standing next to him, and I think, fuck, this. How do you do this, right? Like, like it's like, yeah, it's really, but it's a cry for, it's like a war cry, but it's not. It's positive again. It's like
always positive. Even getting away with it all messed up. It's positive.
Yeah, it's something else also. But yeah, we have a few of these songs, that sometimes as we get older and older, And so you begin to have a different relationship with the stage. You have a different relationship with each other, and you become much more aware of what you're doing. Like when you're very young, you don't know anything, do you? You just do stuff and whatever, right? And then as you get older, you start to understand more about what you're doing, and that's when it gets funny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. It's like, it's so cool. What a job. You know what I mean? There's also, you work in the industry, right? You work in media,
Yeah.
you work in radio. It's like, radio for me is the most interesting form of media. I think that we invented. It's like when I was growing up, I lived in a place in Scotland. I'm living in Scotland here now, and we didn't have TV. There was no signal for TV, so we had no TV.
I see.
But we had radio, and so radio, reading and radio were two things that they were our media, really, that we had in my family. And it's so I grew up with radio, Radio Caroline, which was an illegal radio station, a pirate station.
Pirate.
Yeah, from a boat in the North Sea, and it was very instructive because it was the first radio station to play Captain Beefheart, the first radio station to play some of those and a lot of American music, right? And so I was growing up with Tom Waits, those very early Tom Waits records, Little Feat records, a lot of American music that no one was getting, right? And I would go to school and say, in my little village, and say, "Oh, I've heard this record by Little Feat," and they'd look at me like,
What?
fucking mental. And so it was, and it wasn't that it was left field, because some of that music was not left field. It was pretty, but so I was really lucky. The radio, and then later on there was John Peel, and also football, right? That's how I was getting football, was by radio, which is amazing. Because listening to football on the radio is super romantic, and it's still good. It's still good, So yeah, I have a special affinity for radio. I think this is another reason why I like podcasts, because I think it's a new version of radio for me. Podcast, simply that.
Yeah. And you can wash the dishes, and you can take a shower, and
Yeah, and you can have the dialogue, you can have the voice, and you can have the music. And what I also really like about radio is it plays the music. You don't decide, right? So it's not like fucking Spotify.
It's always a surprise.
It's always a surprise. And you hear stuff and go, "Hey, that was pretty cool." And then you can go and find out what it was, or you catch what it was, and you go, okay. And so for me, that's genuine discovery, right? Not being forced by an algorithm to go wherever. Yeah, it's useful as well. I know, I get it. But but the radio has a special place. It's like magic, right? And no one knows how it works. It's like magic.
I do.
Not really. Not scientifically.
Okay.
No one knows how the fucking internet works either. So let's face it. Yeah, but but it's beautiful. I love the radio. It's amazing.
Okay, my friend.
Well,
thank you so much for your time.
No,
pleasure.
I hope you got what you needed. It was very nice to speak to you. Thanks very much. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
See you
Até
then.
já. Então.
Have a
Até
good
já.
one.
Obrigado.
Bye-bye.
Até já.
Kiss FM. Não deixe o rock sair de você.